On Sunday Night Live, when I spoke to Aidan Levy, the author of Saxophone Colossus, The Life and Music of Sonny Rollins, of course, we had to speak about Coleman Hawkins. One thing that Sonny talks about is his admiration for Coleman Hawkins. When Sonny was coming up, Coleman Hawkins lived in Harlem. He had a certain demeanor that he carried himself, he dressed well, something that Sonny took note of and respected. And Sonny said once that when Coleman Hawkins' Body and Soul came out, which is really one of the first saxophone solo hit records in 1939, 1940, Sonny walked up and down 7th Avenue in Harlem so he could hear Coleman Hawkins coming out of the jukebox of every bar.
After Monk, I've got to talk about Hawk. That record, Body and Soul, was a hit. I mean, he could hear that on jukeboxes up and down 7th Avenue. And it's really amazing, and many people couldn't understand it because he doesn't play the melody. This was an early sign and a high watermark for Sonny of how you could navigate harmonic progressions in a singular way, and to do it in a way that was more cerebral maybe than people had done it before. Hawkins had this intellectual approach to the saxophone and to harmony and rhythm that Sonny wanted to emulate, and he did do that. There's another record by Hawkins that I would just mention, which is Picasso, Hawkins' solo saxophone playing. This is another thing that I think inspired Sonny. There are other solo saxophone pieces, but Hawkins had done this, and Sonny wanted to play solo saxophone, and he did. And he made a whole album solo saxophone, and he would do performances.
Thankfully, they got a chance to play together at one of the Newport Jazz Festivals in the 60s. And I don't know if it was the recording or in the studio that they actually recorded that. It was really Sonny Rollins and Coleman Hawkins.
Well, it was recorded both live at Newport, and it was also recorded in a studio.
Okay.
And the producer was George Avakian, who produced for RCA, and he signed Sonny to this major lucrative contract when he came down from the bridge. And you can actually hear the recording of Sonny's first meeting with Hawkins at Newport. Apparently, Avakian thought that there were issues with that there was a sense of trepidation or deference between both of them. I don't agree with Avakian. Frankly, I think that both are fantastic performances. That is the studio recording, Sonny Meets Hawk, as well as the one that was done live at Newport. But anyway, they decided to reconvene at RCA Studios and make that record, Sonny Meets Hawk, which I love that record. And I was able to hear some of the outtakes from that. And there's this moment when Hawk, after one of the takes, says, I'm not feeling the beat here. You've got to feel the beat in your heart. And after that, I don't know, something seems to click for Sonny, and it comes together. Mm-hmm. And it was just this moving moment for me. So I know that he just revered Hawkins. And after Hawkins died, he wrote this emotional, brief but very emotional tribute to him. That essentially he was sad that Hawkins had left us, but he was grateful that he had been here at all. So I know that relationship was important to him, and he was an early saxophone idol, as I said before. Sonny had this 8x10 glossy headshot of Hawkins taken by a photographer named Kriegsman, and he took it to where Hawkins lived and just stood outside his apartment waiting for him to come home when he was, I don't know, about 10, 11 years old, something like that. And eventually Hawkins came home and he got that headshot signed. I don't know if he realized that a couple decades later, he would meet him again in the recording studio at RCA. But it's an inspiring story.